Welcome to Impact Signals, Social Impact at the Scale of AI. I'm Charlie.
And I'm Sarah.
It's Wednesday, July 22, 2026, episode 81. Today, AI detection from both ends of the budget. California puts the first satellites dedicated to wildfire detection at the center of its fire season strategy. Tanzania's University of Dodoma turns ordinary cell towers into flood sensors and wins a global award for it. And after 11 years, USA for UNHCR is winding down the hive. It's Refugee Data Science Lab. We start in California, where the governor's office just laid out the state's wildfire technology portfolio heading into peak fire season, with AI detection at the center. The headline asset, 3 FireSat satellites launched July 7 from Vandenberg Space Force Base, the first spacecraft ever dedicated solely to wildfire detection.
What makes this significant is who owns the newest layer. The satellites were built by Muon Space for the nonprofit Earth Fire Alliance, with Google Research contributing the AI detection pipeline. A nonprofit-owned constellation feeding a state fire agency is a procurement model other governments can actually join.
The numbers are specific. The constellation can spot fires as small as 5 by 5 meters, and once fully deployed it will revisit every point roughly every 20 minutes. The satellites are in calibration now, and the state says they begin delivering operational data to CAL Fire, California's state fire agency, around October.
Right, and they land on top of a layer that already works. Alert California, the University of California San Diego camera partnership, runs more than 1,000 cameras and has detected more than 900 fires on state lands before anyone called 911. If you have ever had to pitch an AI camera network to a skeptical emergency service, that is your proof point.
The timing matters. State Scoop notes CAL Fire joined the FireSat early adopter program back in 2025, so the data pipeline into operations was negotiated before the hardware ever flew.
That ordering, agreement first, hardware second, is the design principle worth copying. And the early adopter program is the practical channel. Agencies far from California, including fire-prone countries with no camera networks, can position for FireSat data access now, before the constellation scales.
Second signal, Tanzania, and the cheaper mirror image of that stack. Tanzania's Daily News reports that a University of Dodoma system that turns existing mobile phone towers into flood sensors was named an Innovate for Impact winner at the AI for Good Global Summit in Geneva earlier this month. One of 59 winners selected from roughly 400 submissions worldwide.
The method is the clever part. It uses ISAC, integrated sensing and communication, to read atmospheric data off cellular towers that already exist, and a graph neural network to predict heavy rainfall and flooding. Predictions go to the Tanzania Meteorological Authority for verification, and that safeguard is what lets validated alerts travel back out to citizens over the same mobile network.
And the new angle this week is commercial. Because the system rides on telecom infrastructure that is already built, it promises weather monitoring at a fraction of the cost of a dedicated station network.
In most data-sparse countries, sparse ground stations are the binding limit on early warning, which makes this the more replicable pattern. For practitioners in those countries, Met agencies and aid groups, the move is to track this ISAC on cell towers pattern for a pilot, and to treat the full 59 project winner cohort as a scouting list for deployable solutions.
Moving to Kenya. Last Friday, July 17, the government launched the Integrated Natural Resources Management Program at the University of Eldoret, an 8-year, $263.8 million U.S. climate resilience program for 10 western counties, with $126.8 million supported by IFAD, the International Fund for Agricultural Development.
The reach is what matters. More than 2 million people across over 407,000 rural households getting climate-smart agriculture, ecosystem restoration, and improved water management. And this is explicitly a scale-up of smaller IFAD programs already run in Kenya, moving from pilot geography to a 10-county footprint.
8 years of funded programming at that scale will need local partners, extension capacity, climate information services, and monitoring technology across counties from West Pokot down to Migori.
So the practical takeaway is timing. If you have climate advisory tools, soil and water tech, or a last-mile extension platform working in the field, map this program's procurement and partnership channels now, at program start, not in year 3.
Story 4, from a pipeline opening to one closing. USA for UNHCR, the American fundraising partner of the UN Refugee Agency, published Sunsetting the Hive on Tuesday, announcing the wind-down of its in-house data science lab after 11 years. Founded in 2015, the Hive was one of the earliest dedicated data science teams inside a humanitarian fundraising organization.
Over that run, the Hive applied machine learning to donor engagement and refugee support problems, published open work on GitHub, and convened a forum connecting technologists, UNHCR staff, and philanthropists. The closure lands in the same month. The sector is being told AI wealth is about to flood nonprofits with new money. A reminder that in-house data science capacity in humanitarian organizations is still funding dependent.
One caveat we owe you: the announcement page itself would not load when we checked, so the transition plan, what happens to the Hive's tools and open source projects, is unconfirmed. The closure is confirmed by the publisher's own headline and page.
The action is concrete either way. For practitioners who built on the Hive's open source work, go to its GitHub organization and fork what you depend on now before repositories go unmaintained. And when the retrospective becomes readable, read it: 11 years of humanitarian data science, accounting for what it actually delivered.
One more briefly from India. On July 19, Uttar Pradesh inaugurated the new headquarters of its State Disaster Management Authority in Lucknow, a 200 crore rupee facility, about $24 million US, housing a round-the-clock state emergency operations center and a digital command and coordination center for a state of roughly 240 million people, more populous than all but 4 countries.
Subnational governments are becoming the real buyers of disaster technology, and a standing, funded, digitally equipped state operations center is the integration point that early warning deployments in South Asia have lacked. If you work on alert dissemination or response coordination in the region, watch for the authorities' tenders and data-sharing frameworks as the center staffs up.
On the disaster watch, Mexico, a magnitude 7.3 earthquake struck offshore Chiapas on July 17 with a 6.4 aftershock the same day. USGS, the United States Geological Survey, has it at a yellow alert and is monitoring the aftershock sequence for coastal Chiapas and neighboring Guatemala. Peru, a shallow magnitude 5.5 quake near Chupaca in June, and on July 19 an orange alert from GDAX, the Global Disaster Alert and Coordination System, with an estimated 240,000 people in strong shaking. Northern India, monsoon floods and landslides have killed at least 25 people this week, with parallel flooding in Pakistan's Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and in Nepal, where officials count 166 dead across 4 months of monsoon incidents. And the Horn of Africa, drought across Ethiopia, Kenya, and Somalia holds at a GDAX orange alert.
The Northern India monsoon is the live test for the Lucknow story we just covered. That new operations center opens in the middle of exactly this emergency, and its early warning case gets judged this season on whether district-level alerts reach people ahead of the water. Alerts have to outrun the water.
Funding Watch, one open call with a caveat. WFP, the World Food Program, has a call for expressions of interest with El Salvador's Environment Ministry to strengthen climate services and early warning in the Gos Coron River Basin, 7 districts, roughly 2,700 families, implementation running 2026 through 2029. The listed deadline is July 31, 9 days out. Per funds for NGOs, WFP's own tender page would not resolve when we checked, so confirm it there before you commit effort.
The realistic fit is organizations already doing climate services or community early warning in Central America. And note the format: this is an expression of interest, not a full proposal. 9 days is workable for that. Confirm the page, then scope your submission to the basin, the 7 districts, and the 2,700 families.
The through line today: AI detection is layering into government emergency stacks from both ends of the budget. California with dedicated satellites, 1,000 cameras and drones, and Tanzania with an algorithm riding on cell towers that were already standing.
And both got the same thing right before scaling: the handoff to a named operational agency. wildfire signed on before the satellites flew, and Tanzania routes predictions through its meteorological authority before an alert goes out. Whichever sensor layer your budget supports, negotiate that handoff first.
That's Impact Signals for Wednesday, July 22, 2026. If this briefing is useful, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Check us out at impactsignals.ai and share it with someone working in the field.
Stay ready.